أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. أولم ير الإنسان أنا خلقناه من نطفة فإذا هو خصيم مبين. وضرب لنا مثلا ونسي خلقه قال من يحيي العظام وهي رميم. أولم ير الإنسان أنا خلقناه من نطفة فإذا هو خصيم مبين. وضرب لنا مثلا ونسي خلقه قال من يحيي العظام وهي رميم. قل يحييها الذي أنشأها أول مرة وهو بكل خلق عليم. الذي جعل لكم من الشجر الأخضر نارا فإذا أنتم منه توقدون. أوليس الذي خلق السماوات والأرض بقادر على أن يخلق مثلهم الذي جعل لكم من الشجر الأخضر نارا فإذا أنتم منه توقدون. أوليس الذي خلق السماوات والأرض بقادر على أن يخلق مثلهم بلى وهو الخلاق العليم. إنما أمره إذا أراد شيئا إنما أمره إذا أراد شيئا أن يقول له كن فيكون. إنما أمره إذا أراد شيئا أن يقول له كن فيكون. فسبحان الذي بيده ملكوت كل شيء وإليه ترجعون. صدق الله العظيم.
وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله ولي الصالحين وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله خاتم الأنبياء والمرسلين. اللهم صل وسلم على عبدك ورسولك محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه ومن دعا بدعوته واستنى بسنته إلى يوم الدين وسلم تسليما كثيرا. أما بعد، فيقول الحق سبحانه: يا أيها الذين آمنوا كتب عليكم الصيام كما كتب على الذين من قبلكم لعلكم تتقون. All praise are due to Allah, Lord of the worlds. And surely Allah is the friend and protector of the righteous. I bear witness that Allah is one and has no partners, and that Muhammad, the son of Abdullah, is his servant, his last messenger. He is the best of those who called to submission and tawheed. May Allah send peace and blessings to him, to his family, to all those who call to his way and establish his sunnah to the day of judgment. As to what follows, I begin by reminding you and myself of taqwa, of the consciousness of Allah, that we should hear the words of Allah, we should obey, we should fear Allah, but at the same time hope in the mercy of Allah. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has revealed in his mighty book, in the second chapter of the Quran, O you who believe, fasting has been prescribed on you, as it was prescribed on those who came before you, in order that you would have taqwa, in order that you would have the consciousness of Allah. And so we are in a very unique time. We are in a time where the month of Ramadan is coming forward to us, a wonderful guest coming into our homes. And inshallah, by next Friday, we will be into this month of Ramadan, and it finds us also in the time of a pandemic. And so the movement of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on the outside coming in with Ramadan, clearing the spiritual air of the jinn, of the demons, and the inside, what happens on inside of us, that fasting has been prescribed on us, as other nations have had fasting prescribed on them. And so the month of Ramadan is a month of taqwa. It is a month of the consciousness of Allah. It is not a month of food. It is not necessarily a month of festivities, but it is a time of spiritual enlightenment. It is a time of the connection of human beings to the Creator of the heavens and the earth. And Allah Azza wa Jal also in the second chapter of the Quran has revealed, شهر رمضان الذي أنزل فيه القرآن هدى للناس وبينات من الهدى والفرقان. That this, the month of Ramadan, is the time in which the Quran was revealed as guidance to humanity and clear evidence from the guidance and from that which separates truth from falsehood. And so we find ourselves entering into the month of Ramadan in the midst of a pandemic, in the midst of a plague, which has struck every part of the world. And so, in looking to the guidance of Allah Azza wa Jal, as we enter into the time of the Quran, we think about ourselves in relationship to what Allah Azza wa Jal has revealed to humanity. And we find that in Surah Al-An'am, verse 42, Allah has revealed, A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim, وَلَقَدْ أَرْسَلْنَا إِلَىٰ أُمَمٍ مِّن قَبْلِكَ فَأَخَذْنَاهُمْ بِالْبَأْسَاءِ وَالضَّرَّاءِ لَعَلَّهُمْ يَتَضَرَّعُونَ. Allah has revealed, and certainly we sent apostles to the nations before you. And then we seized them with distress and suffering in order that they would humble themselves. And so Allah uses this very descriptive word, لَعَلَّهُمْ يَتَضَرَّعُونَ. And so the distress, the powerful quaking of the earth has come down in order that people would beseech their Lord. They will humble themselves to the Creator of the heavens and the earth. And now we find ourselves in a very unique time. A tiny creature, a tiny creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, a virus, which is invisible to the naked eye, is now the king of the world. And it comes in the shape of corona, of a crown. And this tiny creature of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has influenced every nation. It has forced every nation, every tribe, every religion, every ideology to go into hiding, to go into isolation. لَعَلَّهُمْ يَتَضَرَّعُونَ. This is a test which is upon us. And because of this, and it's a unique time, that we are forced into this state of humility, and yatadarra'un is being humble to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. In other words, submitting to His laws, His systems that He has set up, which came on the tongues and the hearts of the great prophets from the beginning of time. We find in these unique times that throughout the world, pubs, casinos, brothels of prostitution are all closed down. We find interest rates being lowered, and sometimes zero interest rate. We find that people are spending more time with their families. We find that children are getting to know their parents, and we are recognizing human beings who never had time for their children, who never had time for the important structure of the family, are now in their isolation with their children and seeking protection. We also find during this time that people are concerned with purification, keeping things clean. And Prophet Muhammad ﷺ has told us, he said, At-tahur shatrul iman. He said that purification is half of faith. In the issue of purification, which some people are becoming obsessed with, we find that in stores throughout the world, it's hard to find soap. It's hard to find hand sanitizer, which is mainly distilled alcohol. It's hard to find those things for purification of our floors and our tables in our home. And people and governments are now concerned with quarantine. It is shocking for many people to realize that Muslims have been concerned through the Islamic way of life with tahara, with purification, which is half of faith, all the way from the beginning of the Islamic message. And so, in the light of this, when we look at soap itself, sweet soap was introduced into Europe and into much of the world by the Muslims. We also find alcohol, distilled alcohol, that Jabir ibn Hayyan, may Allah be pleased with him, who is considered to be the father of chemistry, the father of alchemia. It's an Arabic word, alchemy. He was the one who worked on the distillation of alcohol. We find that people around the world are concerned with prayers. that prayer vigils are being held throughout the world, and even the President of the United States called for a day of prayer. We find that people are respecting the limits in between each other. There's no more shaking of the hands. We respect distance. We even concern ourselves with modesty. And surprisingly enough, countries which banned the face veil, like France, Austria, the Netherlands, Denmark, Norway, these countries are enforcing the face veils. And the French fashion houses are even showing fashionable ways to cover your face. The air is clear. Taking care of the environment, which is a very important Islamic concept, is coming about. From a satellite looking down on Earth, scientists recognized in the capitals of the world that the air is clear now because the planes and the vehicles have been slowed down. And so this is a time of submission. This is a time of humility. And more people are understanding the importance of courage, the importance of giving, the importance of being aware of the elderly, being aware of young people, and the frontline workers, the doctors, the nurses, those who are working in the elderly homes, in the hostels, are giving their lives. And we now are recognizing them, whereas in the past, we may not have recognized the sacrifice that they have been making for this planet. And so Muslims need to take advantage of this. Not only are we living under the international, humble, yatadarra'un, that lifestyle which is now has been imposed upon the whole planet, we also have the blessing of the month of Ramadan. And this is a special time for us. It is the time of guidance. It is the time of spiritual awakening. It's the time for us to isolate ourselves from the dunya. We are part of this world, but we are not of the world. And so let us take advantage of the month of Ramadan that is coming upon us. Let us prepare our homes for Ramadan. Literally to make a section of our house a masjid. Prepare our Qur'ans. Prepare our literature to give us information about our beautiful faith. Call the adhan even in the house. Have the children learn how to call the adhan. Have the children learn how to lead prayer. Speak about the stories of the great prophets who came before us. Let us reflect upon the book of Allah Azza wa Jal. And as we go through the month, as we move toward the end of this blessed month, let us go section by section as we go with our qadis, section by section, not only just for tilawah, not only for recitation, but also tadabbur. And that is that we would reflect upon what is in the book. And to cap it off, implementation. So recitation, reflection, implementation. Let us institute a new relationship with the book of Allah Azza wa Jal. That we would read these verses, we would live through the so many stories of those who came before us. We would live through information that Allah has revealed that no other nation has ever received before. Let us also emphasize the fact that this is a month of the Quran. It is a month of guidance. It is not Shahr al-Ta'am. It's not the month of food, but it's Shahr al-Siyam. It is the month of fasting. And so we prepare enough food to nourish our bodies, but we don't overemphasize the party nature every single night. We thank Allah Azza wa Jal in a humble way. We recognize that the food and the drink that we have, there are other people on earth who may not have access to this food and to this drink. We need to get involved in whichever way we possibly can, taking the guidance from the doctors and our society. Get involved in helping other people. Get involved in doing righteous deeds. There are organizations and centers that are even sending food to those who are in need. We need to keep a strong support with our masjids, a strong support with our centers, and realize that it is a vital mission of the Muslims. It is crucial for the believers in these times to continue to give extra to our masajid and our Islamic centers, that the light of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will continue within the houses of Allah, that when this pandemic has been lifted from us, that inshallah we return to the masjids, and the masjids will be in a solid, good shape, waiting for us to return. And so the house is the masjid. And the Prophet ﷺ said very clearly that the difference between him and other messengers is that the whole earth, جُعِلَتْ لِيَ الْأَرْضَ مَسْجِدًا وَطَهُورًا, the whole earth is a masjid. And he told us it can be a place of purity, so wherever you find yourself, when it is time to make your prayers, then you make your prayers. And so we find ourselves in a state of isolation. We find ourselves keeping distances, but when the time for prayer comes in, we implement it. This is the last nation. And this message has been sent for all people, all circumstances, and all times. And above all, we need to take these moments that are coming to us as we move toward Ramadan and as we enter into this blessed month, insha'Allah. We need to take this time to humbly turn to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in dua, to humbly ask Him to humiliate ourselves in a simple way, turning to Allah Azza wa Jal and recognizing His power over all things, that He would have mercy upon this planet, that all of the suffering people, regardless of their religion, their color, their race, suffering people, that this bala, that this pandemic would be lifted from them, that our leaders, that our governments would also reset their thinking and continue to give to the poor, continue to help the frontline workers, continue to respect the elderly and how delicate people are when they are over 60 years old. We need to turn to Allah Azza wa Jal and ask Him to have mercy. And now we have a chance in the darkness of night, in the isolation of our homes, as Prophet Muhammad ﷺ did often in the month of Ramadan, a type of i'tikaf, that he did a type of isolation where he cut off the world and he turned to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and he asked Him humbly. And so we ask Allah Azza wa Jal, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, wa sallallahu ta'ala ala Sayyidil Mursaleen, wa alihi wa sahbihi ajma'een. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to have mercy upon us. And we ask Him, Rabbana inna dhalamna anfusana, wa illam taghfir lana wa tarhamna, lanakunanna min al-khasirin. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار وادخلنا الجنة مع الأبرار يا عزيز يا غفار. اللهم اصرف عنا البلاء والوباء والمحن ما ظهر منها وما بطن بما شئت وكيف شئت إنك على كل شيء قدير. O Allah, lift off us this evil, lift us off us this bala, lift off all the crises that people are going through. You are the one who has power over all things. You are the one who can change affairs in the twinkling of an eye. We ask you to accept us, to have mercy on us, and those who have passed away from us. Allahumma aghfir lil muslimina wal muslimat, wal mu'minina wal mu'minat, al ahya minhum wal amwat, birahmatik ya arhamar rahimin. عباد الله يرحمكم الله إن الله يأمر بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون وآخر دعوانا أن الحمد لله رب العالمين. And brothers and sisters, finally, we have a very important word from our leader in the Islamic Institute of Toronto as I leave you in peace. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
My dear brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. I hope and I pray that you and your families are safe and that you're following all of the public health guidelines. It is really important that we don't give up. Let's make sure that we comply with all of the public health guidelines issued by those in authority. This is not the time for us to relax any of those guidelines. If we do, we run the risk of frittering away all of those benefits that we have received to date by staying apart from each other, by not shaking hands, by staying home unless you have to go out, and if you do go out, try and practice physical distancing. I also want to take a moment or two to thank all our public health officials, our public servants who are working day in and day out to deliver services to the community. I want to thank our frontline workers, our nurses, our doctors, our personal support workers, our taxi drivers, transit operators, police, fire services. I also want to thank all those truck drivers. I want to thank all of our grocery clerks and all those individuals who are ensuring that we remain safe and ensuring that we can stay home and be fed and at least benefit from some of the comforts that we are accustomed to. My brothers and my sisters, as you heard from our dear Sheikh, Ramadan will begin, inshallah, on Friday. The Islamic Institute of Toronto will be following the Fiqh Council of North America and will be commencing Ramadan, inshallah, on Friday. This Ramadan will be different. We know that Ramadan, in addition to being a month of spirituality, a month of prayer, a month of training, a month where we exhort ourselves to get close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it is also a month of collegiality, a month of collaboration, a month of coming together, a month where we share and love and see each other, a month where we exchange recipes for diet, a month when we stand shoulder to shoulder to pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, a month where we strive to give our charity so we can benefit from all those tremendous benefits that this blessed month has to offer. My brothers and my sisters, this Ramadan will be different. We will not be able to congregate in our mosques. We may not be able to share those special iftars, but this Ramadan can also be special. This Ramadan can be unique, and this Ramadan, inshallah, can be, inshallah, one of the most blessed Ramadan we have spent. We will all miss the interactions that we are accustomed to. I will miss watching our volunteers pack foods for our iftar programs. I will miss cleaning in between Salatul Maghrib and Salatul Isha. I will miss the quiet period that we have just before Salatul Isha. My brothers and my sisters, we all will miss that. We will miss that interaction, but we have an opportunity remotely to get together and fulfill some of their obligations that we have by interacting with each other online. And the Islamic Institute of Toronto will be trying to replicate our many programs online. I would invite you to visit us at islam.ca for all of the programs that we have. And also, as Dr. Sheikh Abdullah Hakim quick mentioned, this is also an opportunity for you to remember the masajid and Islamic Center. I know this is, in addition to the health challenges that we face, this is also a difficult, really difficult economic times. People, some of us have lost their jobs. Some individuals are surviving on reduced income. Many of us don't know what the economy would look like when this is all over. So I understand that. We appreciate some of the difficult challenges you face from an economic perspective, but my humble request is to please remember the Islamic Institute and other masajids in terms of your donation. We will be launching our 1 in 1,000 campaign. This is a campaign that we have ran for a number of years, which is to try and get 1,000 people in our community to donate $300 each. This campaign will be launched shortly, inshallah. So I encourage you to check our website, islam.ca, for all of our programs, and also to try and make a contribution. I also encourage you to try and ensure that we take care of those individuals who are vulnerable in our community, the sick, the dispossessed, our seniors, people who are vulnerable. Let's remember them, those who are local, if we can reach out to them and provide them with an opportunity to interact with us on the phone, on Facebook. If we can find an opportunity to interact and send something to them, of course, observing all of the guidelines, that would also be greatly appreciated. So as we celebrate within our families, within our immediate families, let's make sure that we also remember the vulnerable. And once again, I would encourage you, brothers and sisters, please respect the safe distancing and the other guidelines that our public health officials are asking us to comply with. It's really important. We've made significant gains in Ontario and Canada, and we need to ensure that we continue along that trajectory. We need to plank this curve, and we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to help us in that endeavor. And before I conclude, I also want to thank all the governments, provincial, municipal, and federal governments, for coming together and putting together different programs to help businesses, individuals, and families in a time of need. Jazakumullah khair. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.